Bro, every pro player you see today was once a totally noob in PUBG Mobile. Even the guys doing 1v4 now used to miss their easy sprays and die to bots. The only difference is they learned the basics the right way, and that's exactly what I'm gonna give you today. Welcome to episode 7 of the Tips and Tricks series. So in today's video, I've got the top 5 pro tips and tricks everyone needs to know in PUBG Mobile. No complicated stuff, no crazy 1v4 montages, just practical tips that actually work. Tip 1. Alright bro, listen carefully, because this is one of the easiest fixes you can make to instantly improve your spray. If you're using the M416 or any AR and you're always spraying while standing, then you're literally missing out on free kills. Most players think just recoil control is enough, but the truth is, your stance changes everything about recoil. The simplest adjustment you can make is to crouch before you start spraying. It may look like just a small move, but it gives you way more control over the gun. When you crouch, your crosshair becomes more stable, the gun shake reduces a lot, and your bullets travel in a much tighter line instead of flying all over the place. This makes a massive difference in mid-range sprays, like when you're beaming someone running in the open or tracking an enemy rotating to cover. Standing sprays feel shaky and inconsistent, but when you crouch, it feels smoother, almost like the game is helping you lock on. Now here's something most people don't even realize. Prone spraying gives you the maximum control. Yes bro, going prone literally makes the recoil even easier than crouching. Your gun turns into a laser beam, and even long-range sprays feel simple. Personally, I crouch for most of my sprays, especially mid-range, because it's quick and gives me mobility. But whenever I'm holding an angle or need to guarantee every bullet connects, I go prone and turn my M416 into a laser. So if your sprays feel wild, inconsistent, or shaky, don't just blame sensitivity. Try crouching before you shoot, and when the situation is safe, go prone. You'll instantly notice your sprays sticking to enemies like glue, and that one simple habit can completely change the way you win fights in PUBG Mobile. Tip 2. Bro, listen, if you're playing aggressive close range and you're just jiggling left and right, then trust me, you're missing out on a huge survival trick that can literally change how many fights you win. And that trick is crouch spam. Now let me explain why this is so important. In close-range hipfire battles, especially when both you and the enemy are running around spraying like crazy, the fight usually comes down to whoever lands those headshots first, because a couple of headshots are enough to end the fight in just 1 second. That's why crouch spam is such a game changer. When you suddenly crouch mid-fight while jiggling, you instantly make your movement unpredictable. The enemy is expecting your body at one level, and then you drop down and their crosshair misses your head completely. Instead of hitting your head, they're forced to hit your chest or legs, which gives you that extra second to destroy them. And this becomes even more powerful in those sweaty 1v1 or 1v2 situations in close range, or those tense TPP corner fights. Normally, in those close spaces, enemies are already pre-aiming your head, but when you add crouch spam into your jiggles, their crosshair placement gets completely thrown off. Their spray timing breaks, they panic, and suddenly you've got the advantage. But here's the thing, don't crouch randomly, because if you just spam crouch without rhythm, you'll actually mess up your own spray. The trick is to mix it with your jiggles, like jiggle left, jiggle right, suddenly crouch, pop back up, jiggle again, crouch again. Keep switching it up so the enemy can never predict your next move. Once you master this rhythm, you'll notice enemies start missing way more bullets on you. And honestly, that's the best feeling ever. When the enemy is spraying their whole mag and it looks like they're shooting a ghost, because your movement is just that confusing. This is exactly what gives you that pro-level vibe, where players think, bro, how is this guy even moving like that? So if you really want to learn that crouch jiggle thing, make sure to watch my video about jiggle. Trust me, it will help you a lot. You'll instantly see how much harder you are to kill in close-range battles. Tip 3. Alright bro, this is one of those sneaky tricks that can instantly level up your close-range fights. It's called the pixel peek. Now most players don't even realize how OP this little move is, but once you start using it, trust me, enemies will feel like they're fighting a ghost. So here's how it works. When you're holding a corner and you know someone's about to push, you don't need to run out or expose half your body just to check the angle. Instead, you simply take one step back from the corner and then use your peek button. What this does is create a super tight angle where only a tiny part of your character, like your head or shoulder, is showing. But you can still fully see the enemy and shoot. That's why it's called the pixel peek. Now here's where most players make mistakes. They get too close to the corner. The problem with that that is when you peek, your entire chest and body get exposed, and the enemy has a huge hitbox to spray at. That's basically giving them a free kill. But if you take that one step back, suddenly your angle becomes much tighter and safer. It forces your opponent to either overextend and expose themselves, or take blind shots that rarely connect. And in close-range fights, even a split-second advantage like this can decide everything. Personally, I use pixel peeks when I'm holding a compound, sitting near a wall or a stack of boxes. It feels unfair sometimes because they barely see me, but that's the power of using smart angles instead of raw rushing. So the next time you're in a compound fight or defending from behind a cover, don't just stick yourself to the wall like glue. Take that one step back, lock in your pixel peek, and play it smart. You'll be surprised how often you'll win fights simply because the enemy couldn't even properly see you to begin with. Tip 4. All right, bro, listen carefully, because this one right here is a golden rule in PUBG Mobile, and every single pro player follows it without even thinking. Always peek from the right side of your character whenever possible. And trust me, this one small habit can literally decide whether you win or lose close-range fights. Let me explain why. PUBG Mobile is a third-person game, and the camera is naturally tilted over your right shoulder. That means when you peek right, you're showing less of your body while still having a super clear view of the enemy. It's like having a natural built-in advantage from the game itself. But if you peek left, bro, that's where it gets risky. Because the moment you lean left, your entire upper body comes out just to get a small angle. So basically, the enemy gets to see you first, line up their shot, and boom, you're already at a disadvantage before the fight even begins. The crazy part is, I've seen so many players ignore this simple trick. They rush into compounds, peek left, and then get killed in seconds without even realizing they handed the fight away. And then they wonder, how did that guy kill me so fast? Bro, it's not magic. It's just smart positioning and using the camera angle to your advantage. Once you start doing this right, you'll immediately notice how much safer your fights feel. You'll start winning corner fights you used to lose. You'll start trading damage more effectively. And in those sweaty clutch 1v2 or 1v3 situations, this single adjustment can save your entire squad. So next time you're setting up for a peek fight, whether it's TPP in a house or even an outdoor fight behind cover, always ask yourself one question. Am I peeking from the right side? If the answer is yes, you're already playing like a pro. Remember, bro, right side peek is always the winning side. Tip 5. All right, bro, you're missing out on the most important thing that actually decides clutch fights, and that is head connection in hip-fire fights. Think about it. In close range, both players are moving like maniacs, spraying bullets everywhere, but the player who connects more bullets to the enemy's head wins almost instantly. A few body shots won't matter if the other guy lands just 1 or 2 headshots, because that's enough to drop you before you can even react. But here's the deal. It's not about just aiming higher and praying for headshots. You need the right technique and sensitivity control to consistently land those shots, even when jiggling and moving around. And the good news? I've already made a full detailed video on how to connect more headshots in close-range hipfire fights, where I break it down step by step. Make sure you watch that guide right now, because once you master head connection with your hipfire, bro, you'll start melting enemies before they even know what hit them. Click on that video at the end screen and I'll see you there.